One. Hello, everyone. I am Jennifer Urezzio, and this is Stories with the Divine. There are several times in my life when I can point to and say, here's proof that the divine, which I call God, knows who I am. And I feel it's important for others to share and hear those stories. So this show is dedicated to providing a forum for those narratives. It's so important for you to know your conscious connection to your own divinity. So today I'm with Andrew Kaplan, author of The Last Law of Attraction book you'll ever need to read. Welcome, Andrew.
Hey, Jennifer, thanks so much for having me. Really
I-
excited to be here with you today.
I'm so excited. So we're going to just jump right in. Um, I think we've all had those experiences where we had that heart opening where we knew, okay, whatever we call our higher power, we're acknowledged. Like we know that we are one, that we have been seen by that ultimate love. Can you tell us a little bit about one of your experiences?
Hmm. Well, for me, it was it was almost a bit of tough love because obviously I've got this law of attraction book, and I'd learned about it way back in 2004, and it was just basically one way by which I was looking for a way to improve my life, and I was very hit and miss with it for a couple of years until 2008, where basically I lost my business and my girlfriend of 3 years all in the same week, and I kind of said, okay, something's got to change. And I got really indignant and stubborn and went all in with this thing that I learned. And where in the past, when things would improve, I would stop them for whatever reason. This time I didn't stop. And my life did a complete 180, where basically 2 weeks in, I felt better, which is saying a lot with a broken heart. 3 months in, I'm in a brand new, way happier, way healthier relationship. 4 months in, I'm making way more money than at any point in my life before then. And 6 months in, like everything's different. I'm in the best shape of my life. I'm basically fulfilled in all these areas. So I basically learned through this motivation that whatever this thing is, and we'll call it the divine, because I certainly would, it works if you work it, if you're working with harmony with it, if you are in cooperation with it, if you are a willing participant. And ever since then, I've been forever changed. And even at times where it's easy to intellectually forget, I've always known that in my back pocket, if I just engage in this way in harmony with this, I'm going to invite better things in my life for myself and for others around me.
Yeah, my friend Maria often says, like you could shake your fist at God, but you know what? God's shaking his fist back at you, right? Like it's that deep reflection and that whatever we want to call it, that God goo really just wants us to be profoundly happy. So we're directing that God goo, which is the fundamental kind of basis of law of attraction.
Mm.
Can you share with us one of those intimate moments where you were keenly aware that, yeah, that divinity is acknowledging and seeing that I'm having this co-creative relationship with it?
So this is going to sound like the most ridiculous thing, but
I
I
doubt
think
it.
there are miracles in the mundane. I'll
Yeah.
put it that way. So as silly as it sounds, it was when a friend of mine offered to buy me lunch. And I mean that because this is a person who very stingy for no judgment, just whenever he's out at like he was at like company events and stuff, he's always trying to get the person with like the credit card, the company account to pay for everything. He's just not that type. He's a nice person, but just not that type of person. And as I was engaging in my gratitude methods, like within 3 days, out of the blue, he just decided to buy lunch for me. And it was such a random departure for his personality type while still like such a minor blessing. It's like, well, it seems small on the surface, but something is different about the universe. So I know that sounds almost silly, but I think when you look for the stuff within the minutia, that's where you see the brilliance. And then the dramatic things, like what I described a couple minutes ago, then those are not only more possible, but they're certainly more accessible to you that you could notice them and invite them in.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think often so much when we're in that conversation, we're looking for those big golden ticket moments. And there are big golden ticket moments, but they tend to be, far between, and I think what you said, right? Like the divine is with us every moment of every day. And so when we start to pay attention to those little tiny moments, then you're like, oh, wow, look, I don't need the freight train. I don't need the big dog and pony show for that acknowledgement with divinity. And I think that's key.
Hmm.
So now that you've been practicing for a while, this deep connection, this conversation, this utilizing this law of attraction, which is just one way of accessing that divinity, what are you most grateful for?
Hmm. I'm most grateful for the recognition that the universe or God or the divine, however you want to define that, the universe or God is going to let you handle the things that are within your control and handle the things that are not within your control. I'm grateful for the awareness that there's an invitation, that there's a cooperation here, there's a harmony where you're doing your part, but you can do your part out of inspiration, not out of lack. And, like we're in this physical 3D space for some purpose. And part of it involves or includes the option of taking inspired action. So I'm grateful for that awareness. Whereas I used to, when I was younger, try to force everything, and I'd end up just going in a completely wrong direction, have the wrong energy. Now I can focus on what's within my control and have a true faith and trust in the things that aren't within my control. And I'm often pleasantly surprised, not only with the quality of the result, but the speed with which it comes.
Yeah. I think that's really key. I was taking notes with my phone this morning. I hit that little record button, and I'm like, promote warrior, which is an upcoming class I'm teaching. And the phone wrote, promote worry. And I was like, no, 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 let's back that up. Because like worry's been a big hot button for me, right? And I think that's something what you're illustrating here. It's like when you really understand that, oh my God, you're in charge of such little things, and the universe is in charge of moving all of the big parts and doing all the heavy lifting. There's a huge sense of freedom and
Yes.
gratitude because you're like, man, I don't have to do that, right? So,
Mm.
it's really seeing what you want to hand off every day to divinity and what part is yours to do.
Yeah.
So, before I ask my last question, let's give out your website. How do people get in touch with you? How do they find that book? Which I actually everyone. I hardly buy these kinds of books. I know I write these kinds of books, but I bought this one and it's such a great read. It's so easily digestible. I also use it as a deviation tool. So I'll go, what do I need to know today? And I open up the book and
Mm.
there's Andrew's words of wisdom. And I'm like, oh, duh, I just totally need to know that. So I suggest you pick up a copy. But how do we get that book?
Well, thank you for that acknowledgement. That means a lot. I mean that. And if people want to check it out, they can go to lastlawofattractionbook.com, and that'll auto forward to the Amazon listing. So Kindle, paperback, audiobook, whatever works for them. But if they don't want to pull out their wallets, they're also welcome to go to youtube.com/Andrew Cap. Because I had published under Cap because there was already another Kaplan. So you look for Andrew Cap on YouTube, you will find free content there. Either way, I really hope that the content serves them in some way, shape, or form. And again, thank you for your acknowledgement. I'm glad you enjoyed the book as well.
You're so welcome. My boyfriend's like, well, is there an audio book? I was like, yeah. He's like, well, can't you get me the audio book? And I was like, yeah. And then I forgot to do it. So now I have to. Um, so I think the last question I want to ask you is, what do you think the biggest internal transformation has been now that you know that you are one with everything and that, in my verbiage, God has acknowledged your presence, so to speak?
Right. So life isn't perfect. There are still ups and downs and ebbs and flows, but within those ups and downs and ebbs and flows, there is a relief and a confidence and a certainty that as long as I get myself in that right space, the ride gets a lot more easier, like a lot easier and a lot more enjoyable. So I guess the transformation is that I have recognized a lot more agency in my life. And because of that, that's invited, ironically, a lot more stuff that I don't have to do myself. So the biggest transformation has just been that leaning into that cooperation with the divine.
Yeah, beautiful. Well, thank you so much for spending time with us today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. I really happy to be here.
Thank you. If you're interested in having a deeper connection with divinity, please feel free to click the link in the comments for my free gift called Creating a Deep Connection with Your Purpose. And if you have any questions or comments, please add them below. And of course, share and reach out to Andrew because his book rocks. Okay, everyone. Bye for now.